explain. So Kamsa was the son of Ugrasen of the Bhoja dynasty. It is said that Kamsa was the most demoniac of all the Bhoja dynasty kings. Immediately after hearing the prophecy from the sky, he caught hold of Devaki's hair and was just about to kill her with his sword. Vasudeva was astonished at Kamsa's behavior, and in order to pacify the cruel, shameless brother-in-law, he began to speak as follows, with great reason and evidence. He said, "My dear brother-in-law Kamsa, you are the most famous king of Bhoj dynasty, and people know that you are the greatest warrior and a valiant king. How is it that you are so infuriated that you are prepared to kill a woman who's your own sister at this auspicious time of her marriage? Why should you be so much afraid of death? Death is already born along with your birth. From the very day you took your birth, you began to die. Suppose you are 25 years old, that means you have already died 25 years. Every moment, every second, you are dying. Why then should you be so much afraid of death? Final death is inevitable. You may die either today or in 100 years. You cannot avoid death. Why should you be so much afraid? Actually, death means annihilation of the present body. As soon as the present body stops functioning and mixes with the 5 elements of material nature, the living entity within the body accepts another body according to his present actions and reactions. It is just like when a man walks on the street, he puts forward his foot, and when he is confident that his foot is situated on sound ground, he lifts the other foot. In this way, one after another, the bodies change and the soul transmigrates. See how the plant worm change from one twig to another so carefully. Similarly, the living entity changes his body as soon as the higher authorities decide on his next body. As long as a living entity is conditioned within this material world, he must take material bodies one after another. His next particular body is offered by the laws of nature according to the action and reaction of this life. So, any important points that you can share from this paragraph?
Just like the example of this plant is given that it changes from one twig to another very carefully when it has
Plant worm.
plant worms. That when it has got strong holding on the next, like the caterpillar example also Prabhupada gives, when it's moving from one leaf to another. So when it has got a strong holding in the next leaf, then it moves and actually goes like moves out of the older leaf. So similarly, the human body also, when a mind, the new subtle body is already, the new body is already created based on a desire, and then we leave this body also.
So there is no question of any problem because the body is going to be there. So the situation is like we will never be without the body, until unless we do some suicide or something like that. Even then we have subtle body. So that is there. Yeah. Any other point? Hmm. 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 Yeah. And also here we see that like comes up, he's trying to kill his sister. So what is problem about this? What all problems we can see in this? What is his fault? Hmm.
Killing the innocent.
Hmm. Killing the innocent.
Devki most for this prophecy was that her son gets and not supposed to kill, so Devki had no problem.
Yeah, so that is killing innocent. Then
He's thinking about his life. That once Krishna will come, he will be killed by Krishna.
Okay. And then, so what other fault Kamsa is having? Killing a woman. Woman is not to be punished, even if she is has committed a mistake. So women cannot be punished. Yeah. So these are all some of the problems that he has. And so because of that, so a king means who's seeing to the law and order, who's seeing to the dharma. And if he goes so bad about executing his dharma, so then it becomes very problematic. So it is complete adharma. So generally the kings were dharmic. So even the demons, they used to follow dharma as much as possible. So but then when it comes to the point of sense gratification, and when it is affected, so to which extent they are able to tolerate the loss of sense gratification, and they are able to follow dharma, so that much great dharmic king he is. So everybody has a threshold. To some extent they can tolerate, they can sacrifice. So beyond that, they'll say like, no, give up everything, and sense gratification is ultimate. you know so, and here for Kamsa it is very, very low. For maybe other dharmic kings, maybe it is little high. And personalities like Prithu Maharaj and Lord Rama, so it is really very high. Like really very high. No, it's perfect. So they would follow dharma at any cost. They would not budge from dharma at any cost, right? So that is this one of this. Here we see that Kamsa, he's adharmic. So in general, if we see, we cannot classify a person adharmic or dharmic, completely, because everybody is a combination. So to some extent they will follow dharma, and till the time their threshold reaches, and after that adharma. Right? So in general, like even demons also, like he was following the custom of leaving his sister in the what in-laws home, and then the Vedic samskaras are being followed. No Vivaha samskar is taking part in the Vedic samskar. So it is all actions of dharma, right? So and then at certain threshold becomes adharma. How low is the threshold, that much more demon he is, and how high is the threshold, that much he is dharmic. So like that. So it is a combination. So generally, like devotees get caught up in this one of, so whether I am the dharmic or adharmic. So it is, we cannot answer in one word. It is combination, and the combination, how much combination it is, we don't know. So like, and we have to constantly work on reducing the adharmic component and increasing the dharmic component. So this black and white, this one is only for very hardcore demon or hardcore devotee. Only for them we can say black and white, this opinion about whether they are demon or a devotee. So rest everybody are like, mixed only. Okay. Next.
This body is exactly like one of the bodies which we always see in dreams. During a dream of sleep, we create so many bodies according to mental creation. We have seen gold and we have also seen a mountain. So, in a dream, we can see a golden mountain by combining the two ideas. Sometimes in dreams, we see that we have a body which is flying in the sky, and at that time, we completely forget our our present body. Similarly, these bodies are changing. When you have one body, you forget the past body. During a dream, we may make contact with so many new kinds of bodies, but when we are awake, we forget them all. And actually, these material bodies are the creations of our mental activities. But at the present moment, we do not recollect our past bodies.
So one of the concepts which Prabhupada mentions uh, in terms of remembrance, the change of body means forgetfulness. That is something like Prabhupada often tells. And then also here, it is, so there are many, many bodies to change even in the dreams. So like in the dream, we enter into some kind of a, body, and then we experience some things, and then we give up that and we come back. So like that, and then in dream is also like whatever we have seen. So combination of those things is made in the dream, and so similarly these bodies are changing. So when you have one body and you forget the past body during a dream, we may make contact with so many new kinds of bodies, but when we are awake, we forget. And actually these material bodies are creations of mental activities, but at the present moment we do not recollect those thoughts. Therefore, this is a fair.
The nature of the mind is flickering. Sometimes it acts. The nature of the mind is flickering. Sometimes it accepts something and immediately it rejects the same thing. Accepting the and rejecting is the process of the mind in contact with the five objects of sense gratification: form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. In its speculative way, the mind comes in touch with the objects of sense gratification. And when the living entity desire a particular types of body, he gets it. Therefore, the body is an offering by the laws of material nature. The living entity accepts a body and comes out again into the material world to enjoy or suffer according to the construction of the body. Unless we have a particular types of body, we cannot enjoy or suffer according to our mental proclivities inherited from the various life. The particular types of body is actually offered to us according to our mental condition at the time of death.
Here, nice this one about mind is mentioned. So, what is the nature of the mind?
Accepting and rejecting.
Hmm?
Accepting and rejecting.
Accepting and rejecting, yeah. So that is the way the mind actually does. So it is not going to apply any logic. No, the logic means anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjita. So like whichever is favorable, whatever is guided by the scriptures, we should accept it. And whatever is mentioned as pratikul, so that has to be rejected. So, but then the mind is, it works based on likes and dislikes. So it sometimes it likes something, whether it is good or bad, it doesn't matter. So it wants it, and the very next moment it may dislike that also. So we cannot go by the mind. So the mind, which is more better, mind is better or intelligence is better? Intelligence is better. So both materially and spiritually, this is better.
Spiritually intelligent. एक्चुअली दोनों का ही कॉम्बिनेशन होना चाहिए कि हम कोई भी चीजें देख रहे हैं तो उसको हम इंटेलिजेंस से चेंज करेंगे फिर माइंड के हिसाब से काम करेंगे.
Materially, mind is powerful. Materially, if you ask me, to go more into sense everything, then mind is strong. The mind has to control something. Mind wants something, and accordingly, it plans. We give the example in the mind your mind session. You want to wake up early in the morning, mind will tell. Intelligent plans. 6 o'clock I want to wake up, intelligent plans. I want to wake up late, then intelligent plans. The material mind.
So, materially speaking, in the material condition, so for our advancement, intelligence is very much necessary because mind is a devotee of sense gratification. So, and we want to become devotee of Krishna. So, like the intelligence requires intelligence to overcome the natural conditioning of the mind. So, but then when we become spiritual, we become naturally attached to Krishna. So then intelligence can go to back side, naturally, the mind, intelligence has to plan, but sense gratification, there is no need of plan, automatically it happens, because mind is a devotee of sense gratification. So in the same way, when mind becomes devotee of Krishna, so then, there is no need of any plan, automatically service will be happening, automatically there will be attachment to the Lord. So automatically everything will be happening actually. So that, till the time mind becomes a devotee, so intelligence is very much necessary. We have to put a lot of checks and balances to ensure that this one we are engaged in Krishna's service. So the whole process becomes smooth and easy when mind becomes devotee. The mind is naturally attracted to Krishna. The mind is naturally thinking about Krishna like that. So we talk about that change that happens in the Ashakti level. So that even material activity is doing, so but the mind has now become a devotee. So naturally the mind switches to this one. Like the mind switches to Krishna conscious activities. So that is a very powerful this one. So the mind works on likes and dislikes, and now once it becomes devotee, so it likes only Krishna. So then no problem. So when it is a non-devotee, so then only this problem happens. No, this I want for sense gratification. So like for some time it is giving gratification and it stops giving gratification, then it dislikes. So that also has some logic. Why it likes and dislikes. So it has because it till the time it gratifies, so it actually gives the this one. And when it becomes devotee of Krishna, so then like Krishna's gratification, it will never become stale. Never it will become this one like now this service is boring and things like that. It will never happen because Krishna is ever fresh and Krishna will always give so much of this one Ananda Mudivardhana. So like mind will become once it is attached to Krishna, so then there is no scarcity of bliss that is the mind is going to get. So then like it is going to be like continuously attached to Krishna like that. So that is this one. So mind is somehow or other the flickering mind. So this chanchala, like this aspect of this chanchalta is there because of where to like get attachment and where to get sense gratification and things like that. So but when it when the mind actually reaches the point of the lotus feet of the Lord, so then the chanchalta will become completely gone because एक जगह पे मिल गया like जितना मिलना चाहिए. It is and it is so much of variety and so much of expanding of bliss. So the mind is not willing to go anywhere else. It is just fixed over there. So like that. So this is the process of this one. And here the mind is trying to accept and reject based on the contact of the five sense objects. What is the Sanskrit of this one? You remember? No. This form, taste, smell, sound, interaction. Rupa, I'm not able to remember for taste. Gandha is smell. Rupa, Gandha, and Shabda and Sparsha is there. So, taste, what is the taste? Rasa. Something like that. Okay. So, and the mind comes in contact with the sense objects, of gratification. And when the living entity desires a particular type of body, he gets it. And therefore, actually the mind creates the sense objects. The sense objects, the real sense objects are there in the mind. So the external sense objects are just the projection or representation of that. So like, for example, the sense object that is there for lower animals, that is not our sense objects. We don't get attracted by that. And our sense objects, the animals doesn't get attracted by that. So the sense objects are actually there in the mind. So it is programmed. This is what you should be attracted to. It is pre-programmed. And you will get attracted to that only. You will not get attracted to something else. So like that, it is the sense objects are there in the mind, and then that is projected externally. So like, for example, if you are seeing like rubber mango. So rubber mango, till you will get attracted and you will get like mouth watering and all those things, and you will take and you will bite, then you will understand it is not mango. So it is not mango, but it has created all the effects of a mango in your system. You got attracted to it, and you like all the this one has happened. So that means what? The sense object is there in the mind, which has created all the symptoms of that particular this one. And the external projection did not satisfy, did not result up to that, the image that you have in the mind. So in that way, like you don't get attracted to anything else, like some food particles thrown in the street, you don't get attracted to, but dog will get attracted to it. So because in his mind that is sense object, you get attracted to it. So like that, this objects are created in the mind, and when the human beings get degraded, so they get attached to obnoxious things like eating meat or like kind of obnoxious things. But then his mind is slowly changed, like a dharmic person. So he would not get attracted to those things. So in one of this ones, I think Maharaj Adnidar, unka this one it was there. So there was when he was doing tapasya. So then like he was doing tapasya for attaining what is it, attaining heavenly planets and things like that. So, and he saw a beautiful girl and then he got attracted to, and then he makes a statement that, no, definitely you are not married because I'm getting attracted to. So I'm a dharmic person. No, I cannot get attracted to some married girl. So he has so much confidence on his following of dharma. So like that. So that is a standard of following dharma actually. So even in the platform of sense gratification, they would not get attracted to something adharmic. So now, if you see, like, people are getting attracted to eating meat or eating obnoxious things and things like that. So that means their sense objects are changed. Like the mental sense objects are already changed, and they'll get a body according to it. So they will get already they are behaving like animals only. So now they'll get a body according to it. So in the next this one. So this how the programming is happening. So like by the way of activities that we are following. So based on that, we are actually creating our next body. So that is one is the karma aspect. Another is the kind of the sense objects that the living entity is getting attracted to. So that is also like this one. That is also choice. There are multiple choices that are there. So one is the karma. Another is the desire at the point of death. Then the kind of sense objects that they have got attached to. So like that, multiple this ones are there. All combination put together, one body will result. Like that.
So like, but like you're saying like the sense objects are like a projection. They are actually there in the mind, but the external sense objects are projection. But like sometimes like if I don't taste some item, let us say some pineapple, then I will not be attracted to it because I don't know the taste of it. Because once I taste it, then if I see the next time, then I will get hankering to it. So how like how
object gets created when you get associated. So karanam guna samvasya, right? So like when you associate with a particular one, so then you get that samskara. So you get, okay, I know this particular sense object.
So based on the mode, they will get attracted to it.
So like if somebody is eating a mango and he gets all the time he gets bitter mango only, like some kadwa, like, or some not very good mango. So then after a few times, he'll have a very bad image of mango. And like sometimes this happens that my mother used to take Karela because she was having diabetes, and she used to glorify that. And after some time, like when I started eating, like I started liking the taste. Because the object that is created in the mind is something nice about Karela. Now I like Karela. So that is how it is programming, that's all. It is simple programming. So like you change the program and it's just changed. Like you just train the mind to accept a particular thing, it just accepts it. So that is why one devotee was telling that human beings or the living entities are conditioned living entities. So even if they are put in such a very worst situation of starvation or whatever it is, so only for some time they'll feel the pain. After that, they'll get conditioned to it. And usi mein bhi enjoy karenge. So like that, so any situation you put the living entity into, he will get adjusted to it and he'll start liking it. We cannot think of living a life of a dog in the street. But the same soul, like we can be trained to live happily in the street. So like the cross-culture training happens in the hellish planets. And then we get that training, and after that, we'll be happy running around in the street. Now it is very difficult for us to think of. We don't have a home, we don't have a dress, nothing like, koi pattar marenge to bhagna padega. But then dog is okay with all those things. So much conditioning, so much training can be given. So much training can be given. The mind, like just train the mind in a particular way, it just gets. So now we are also training the mind. So by every day getting up early in the morning, taking darshan of the Lord and taking prasadam and like chanting the names of the Lord, it's like a kind of training. So we keep doing this like over a period of time. So what happens? We become conditioned to it. And only facility like this is available is in spiritual world. So we go to spiritual world.
इसमें मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि हमको ह्यूमन बॉडी मिला है, तो अगर कोई बच्चे को हम अलग सा ट्रेन देंगे, जैसे कि हम लोग जो फूड ले रहे हैं तो उसको अलग सा चीजें देंगे, तो बाद में वो सेम चीज में अट्रैक्शन हो जाएगा उसका, या
See, like, वो जो this one, like, there is one pastime is there of one person, he's a fisherman. He goes to a ashram in the night, like there was heavy rain was there, and he goes to nearby ashram, and like there they gave some accommodation for him, and he was sleeping inside, and so there was so much of smell of agarbatti and flowers and things like that, and he could not able to tolerate and he was not getting sleep, so his fish bag was not allowed inside, so that was there outside, and he went outside and he slept in the cold only because that fish bag smell was good for him. He could able to get sleep, but this nice auspicious smell in the ashram, so that was not good for him. So like that, so conditioning, so their particular conditioning is like that, they'll be comfortable there only. So, and by karanam guna sangosya, like by associating with that particular mode, you will develop desires and taste and everything according to that mode. So then you will be comfortable in that. So, and change, you have to change the modes. So then you have to associate with something. If you want to change to mode of goodness, whether you like it or not, you have to associate with mode of goodness. So over a period of time, the conditioning changes. And once you are properly situated in mode of goodness, then you will start relishing that. Like that. So that's how the mode change happens. So that's why whether we like it or not, we have to come for Mangalarti. We have to be there in the association, and we have to do, whether we like it or not, we should sit and chant. Whether we like it or not, we should sit and read. So these things have to be done. So then over a period of time, we'll develop taste. For that.
Fighting dislikes is very difficult. Fighting dislikes is very difficult.
And that's why you should not give more importance to mind. Whether you like it or not like it, it doesn't matter. This is what the scriptures say. This is what Prabhupada told. This is what we'll do. That's it. See, like this is what we'll tell when people take up the devotional service. No relatives, no, they'll give so much arguments. No, they will tell this one. So if you want to respond to the argument, there's so much to think and very difficult to respond to the argument. If you choose not to respond to the argument, there is no problem. This is what I like and this is what I'll do. What they can tell. They cannot tell anything more than that. They will tell this logic, that logic, and no, they will do so many distance. No, I like this, I want to do this. That's it. Why you want to do? I like this, I want to do this. And what anybody can tell for this? Nothing can be done. So like that, this is what the scriptures say, I want to do this. Mind will say like, no, I like this, I like that. It's okay, but this is what scriptures say we'll do. Not responding to what the mind is saying. We have our own argument. No, this is what scripture says, this is what Prabhupada says, this is what we'll do. No, finished. So if you want to respond to the mind, this is big tedious stuff. So then the mind will put another question and you have to first search answer for that. And then after that, it will put another question. So then never the argument will get over and it will be very difficult. Just completely ignore. So only way to control the mind is ignore. More you respond, more it will take the important position. More it will be the main person. And it will command and you have to respond. And if you don't respond, at least, no, you don't have answer at this point, no. So just follow. Mind will say like you follow, you don't have any response to it at this point in time. You follow, no. So and we say like, I don't want to respond to you. No, I just simply want to follow what is there in the scriptures. No response. The mind will keep crying, no, you listen, like this is a very valid argument. I don't have time. This is what Prabhupada is telling. I want to follow that only. So logic, you give me answer. Okay, whenever I get answer, I'll give you. No, I don't have answer. No, I just have to do this only. So completely become illogical in front of mind. Mind is illogical, and let us also be illogical. So, like that. So logic is applied on meditating on the glories of the Lord, meditating on the glories of the holy name. So there, we will think about all those things. So mind's arguments, we just ignore.
Like most of the time, like I'm not in mode of goodness, more than passion or like ignore that.
So that time, like mind, like overpowers.
So that is why, like in the Vedic system, na, this one Brahmana is mode of goodness. He is given utmost independence, and Kshatriya is trained in mode of goodness, but he overcome by passion and he's doing things in passion. So he's having great deal of independence, but he has to be under the control of Brahmana. And Vaishya, no, he has got little more, no, this one little less mode of goodness and more of passion, and some bit of ignorance is also there. So like then he is also under the control. And Shudra, he is primarily in the mode of passion and ignorance. So then he has to be under the control at all the time. So to the extent we lack in mode of goodness, so that much extent we should subordinate ourselves to some higher authority. Independence is given when mode of goodness is there. To the degree mode of goodness is developed, that much independence is given. No, that is very safe. So otherwise, a Shudra in the Vedic system, a Shudra will be very much disturbed if he doesn't have any controlling authority on top of him. Because he knows that left to myself, I will create havoc. So my natural gravity is towards sense gratification. My natural gravity is towards passion and ignorance. So I cannot be there without control. I need control on top of me. And Brahmana, he knows that he is in mode of goodness. And he is given independence also to function accordingly. And Kshatriya will see these things. Another Kshatriya, he will fight. If another Kshatriya is there, who's not agreeing to his terms, he may fight or he may establish a pact and things like that. But if he can very nicely understand somebody is conditioned by mode of passion and ignorance primarily, he very nicely understands. He puts them under subjugation and subordination. That is the role of a Kshatriya. He will see, if Brahmana is there, he is not in mode of goodness, and pura daba dega usko. So like that. So that is how the Vedic system was very nicely constructed. A person in mode of goodness is given freedom. Otherwise, we should subordinate. We should not believe in our mind, and we should try to cultivate mode of goodness. And as we develop mode of goodness, then we can have freedom. Okay, next.
The luminous planets, like the sun, moon, or stars, reflect themselves in different types of reservoirs, like white, water, oil, or ghee. The reflection moves according to the movement of the reservoir. The reflection of the moon is on the water, and the moving water makes the moon also appear to be moving. But actually, the moon is not moving. Similarly, by mental concoction, the living entity attains different kinds of bodies, although actually he has no connection with such bodies. But on account of illusion, being enchanted by the influence of Maya, the living entity thinks that he belongs to a particular type of body. That is the way of conditioned life. Suppose a living entity is now in a human form of body. He thinks that he belongs to the human community, or a particular country, or a particular place. He identifies himself in that way and unnecessarily prepares for another body, which is not required by him. Such desires and mental concoctions are the cause of different types of bodies. The covering influence of material nature is so strong that the living entity is satisfied in whatever body he gets, and he identifies with that body with great pleasure. Therefore, I beg to request you not to be overwhelmed by the dictation of your mind and body.
To this point, how this different kinds of bodies that are acquired, and when this body is acquired, so by the influence of Maya, we actually believe this is me, and this consciousness of the the consciousness that I am not this body is a very, very a very amazing state of existence. That means he has got a lot of mercy of the Lord to get to that kind of clarity. So that is the platform of jnana. So jnana is that a jnanavan, or an intelligent person, or a knowledgeable person, means one who is can think in terms of the soul, can think beyond the body. So, or he identifies himself as a soul. So then he is called as a jnanavan. He's called as a knowledgeable person. So not a person who has got I can quote shlokas left, right, center. It's not the sign of knowledge. Sign of knowledge means in case of difficulty, in case like no, there is a challenge, challenge that is posed. So which side I take? No, I take the side of the soul and then sacrifice, the side of the body. So then I'm a knowledgeable person. But if I take the side of the body and then I try to safeguard my body, so then it is a sign of ignorance actually. So for example, if I'm very angry person, and somebody is telling, no, Prabhu, like, no, you're very angry. So then, no, like, no, I am not like that. No, I'm defending myself and things like that. So that means I'm ignorant person. So if somebody is saying that I have this particular nature, and then I say, okay, fine. If that is this one, like, what to be done? How can I come out of that? How can I mold myself in such a way that I can become advanced in Krishna consciousness? So I'm not trying to defend my nature. So I'm trying to see that how to change my nature, because I have to come to the point of Krishna consciousness. So whatever is beneficial for Krishna consciousness, I'm trying to alter. So I'm not trying to be like myself as the material combination that I have got now. So this is definitely not good for attaining Krishna. So I have to change myself. So I'm like trying to correct that particular this one. So like this is the condition that is there. So the living entity is perfectly satisfied with the body that he has got, and he perfectly enjoys in that body, right? And he doesn't want to give up that particular this one. And when he comes to the point of knowledge, so that is, he identifies himself as a soul. So then he starts feeling detachment from the material body and his nature, and is like all that is material, that is there, attachment that is there with him. He starts feeling sense of detachment. And then he starts, then he'll be able to develop much nicely. So without coming to the platform of knowledge, it's quite difficult. So on the platform of karma, it is bondage. At least on the platform of knowledge, there is little detachment comes, little knowledge that arises, and little identification of the soul is there, little identification of the Lord is there, and engagement in the service of the Lord is there, and things like that. And this jnana component has to be increased as we are doing our sadhana very nicely. So gradually, like, this jnana component increases. So that shloka, eating process. What is the starting of that shloka? Bhakti pareshanubha virakti anyatra chaisa trika eka khala prapadyamanasya yatashnathashus tushti pushtishu dapayonugasha. So here we see bhakti, paresha anubhava, and virakti. So these three things. So like what happens to these three things? So they trika eka kala. So all these three things simultaneously and progressively increases, right? So, and how does it increase? So like here this one prapadyamanasya, like when we offer our surrender to the Supreme Lord. So surrender is also defined as the six lakshanas that is there. So when we do those six things, so then these three effects we can see. Bhakti increases, and paresha anubhava increases, and then virakti increases. So paresha anubhava, or self-realization, it can mean that like realization of the Lord, realization of the soul. So it is basically the component of knowledge, and virakti is a component of like illusion, like illusion, attachment to the material things is illusion, and virakti is a sign of knowledge. So the illusion is reducing. Virakti means illusion is reducing. So in the opposite side, like if you put it as virakti increasing, means illusion reducing, like that. So, and we see that paresha anubhava, or the knowledge, is increasing, right? So identification of the soul and identification of the soul as part and parcel of the Lord. So all these things are components of paresha anubhava, and bhakti is the practical action in that relationship, right? So these three things, when it simultaneously increases, so this, how it increases, it is just like prapadyamanasya yatashnathashus tushti pushtishu dapayonugasha. Anugasha, with every morsel of food. So we get tushti, that is this one, nourishment. And sorry, tushti means satisfaction, right? Satisfaction. So that is compared to the bhakti, that is execution of engagement in the devotional service. And pushti is the nourishment, and that is the self-realization and direct experience of the Lord. And then virakti is compared to Shuddhapaya. So that is the reduction of hunger. So like this, this simultaneously and progressively it happens. So a sadhaka has to like increase the component of knowledge and decrease the component of ignorance. This is a constant, this one that we need to do. And after execution of sadhana, and our knowledge component is not increasing. So that means our identification of the soul is not increasing. And what is that? My attachment to the body is increasing. My attachment to sense gratification is increasing. So then it is not a good sign of sadhana. This is not a very good sign of knowledge. So the knowledge has to increase. So like if we define knowledge as knowing a lot of things and knowing a lot of shlokas and things like that, then we'll prepare differently. If we know knowledge as detachment from matter, detachment from sense gratification, and attachment to Krishna, so then the working will be different. We will be working towards different this one. So like whenever we get attached to something, so we will condemn ourselves saying that, no, what kind of knowledgeable person, what kind of sadhana I am doing. So I'm still having so much of attachment to this. So when will I develop this detachment? When will I get attached to Krishna? So this, like this, like we need to have desires. And with that desire, when we execute the Navavida Bhakti, so then the knowledge actually arises very nicely. So like we are directed, pointed. Our endeavor is pointed. So then we get very fast results in the execution of sadhana. Next.
Vasudeva thus requested
No,
Kamsa.
not Vasudeva. Vasudeva means Krishna. This is Krishna's father.
Yeah,
He is Vasudeva.
Vasudeva thus requested Kamsa not to be envious of his newly married sister. One should not be envious of anyone, because envy is the cause of fear both in this world and in the next world. Next, when one is before Yamraja, the lord of punishment after death, Vasudeva appealed to Kamsa on behalf of Devaki, stating that she was his younger sister. She also appealed at an auspicious moment. A younger sister or brother is supposed to be protected as one's child. The position is overall so delicate. Vasudeva reasoned that if you kill her, it will go against your high reputation.
So here one more defect of Kamsa is mentioned. What is the defect of Kamsa? Previously we saw that killing of innocent and killing of a woman, punishing a woman. So that is adharmic. So like here, what is another aspect that is there? Younger sister, and specifically the principle that is mentioned is no. Principle is
Like she's getting married, like what this is.
She's like your child.
protector. Protector and then protected. So if it is mentioned that it is a very big adharma, so when somebody is feeling that you are the guardian of that person, so and he puts trust in you, and then he is there what is that, under your care, and then you slaughter him, so then it becomes like the surrendered person should never be like killed or punished and things like that, right? So that's a very important principle, principle of dharma. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj, when Kali personified, when he surrenders completely to Parikshit, so he doesn't kill, he pardons, and in the next chapter, third chapter, I think, there is a glorification of Kamsa also. All the demons, they say, you are such a powerful person, like demigods cannot stand in front of you, and sometimes these demigods, out of fear, they surrender, and you as a great dharmic person, you will not kill those surrendered demigods. So like that. So here we see that this Devaki, she's a surrendered soul, like means she's somebody to be protected. So child, women, brahmanas, old men, and cows, they are to be protected. So these are in the category of to be offered protection, and one should not kill such person actually. So here we see that. So this is another defect of Kamsa, that he is trying to kill innocent, he is trying to kill, trying to punish a woman, and he is trying to kill somebody who is under his protection. No, these are all some of the faults of this one. And another fault is like being envious. So that is like if somebody is working out of envy, no, he should not assume the position of a Kshatriya or a ruler. No, he should be not partial to anybody. No, envy means partiality, right? So he should not be partial, like based on no anybody's qualification, whatever is the qualification a particular person has, no, according to that he should reciprocate with him. No, you should not take sides. Like the opposite of envy is like favoritism. No, somebody is like favorite to me, so I will do something good for him, and somebody is not favorite to me, I'll not do good for him. So then he is not a proper leader at all. So proper leader means no, this guy has qualification, so he should be given no sufficient no facilities like that. This guy doesn't have qualification, then he should be given no facilities according to that. So based on the qualifications, no, he should actually reciprocate. So here he's working out of envy. So that means he is not a proper Kshatriya. No, like he will have to face the reactions of karma for that. Right. So like we also assume leaderships roles. So we should also be very careful. So like at the end of life, no, we want to go back to Godhead. We don't want to see hell. So like we should see that we become non-envious and samoham sarva bhutanam. So like that quality is needed for a leader. So we should try to develop that quality. So we may not have that quality, but we should try to develop that quality and see that based on qualification of people. So we should just reciprocate, the kind of facilities and things like that need to be given. Okay.
In this way, Vasudev tries to pacify Kamsa by good instruction as well as by philosophical discrimination. But Kamsa was not to be pacified because his association with was demonic. Because of his demonic association, he was a demon, although born in a very high royal family. A demon never cares for any good instruction. He is just like a determined thief. One can give him moral instruction, but it will not be effective. Similarly, those who are demonic or atheistic by nature can hardly assimilate any good instruction, however authorized it may be. That is the difference between demigods and demons. Those who can accept good instruction and try to live their lives in that way are called demigods, and those who are unable to take such good instruction are called demons.
So the capacity to take good instruction comes from the component of jnana, so that we were discussing. No? So when the knowledge component is sufficiently there, so that means he has got sufficient detachment from the body. So then there is no chance of getting this chance of appreciating the good instructions, because good instructions comes on the platform of this one, like for the ultimate benefit of the soul. So then that instructions can be taken only when he is in the platform of knowledge. Otherwise, no, the instructions, even good instructions, when it is not in contradiction with the sense gratification, it can be accepted. So, but when it comes in contradiction with the sense gratification, then it cannot be accepted. So that means it's a sign of ignorance. So like good instructions at any cost is accepted. That means it's a sign of knowledge. So here it's mentioned that demigod, the sign of demigod is, he will assimilate good instructions. Like, when Kayadu was, taken by the demigods, and Narada came and told, no, this is wrong. So immediately, they understand. So even though they are doing something, great personalities, they are, king, heavenly king, and they somebody can go to the heaven. That means he has executed all the dharmic principles, very nicely, and then he gets the qualification of going to heaven. And in that, king of the heaven, he knows all the dharma in and out, because they are dharmic. That's why they are there. And such a person, now Narad Muni is coming and telling you what you are doing is wrong. And there is no defending. How can you tell? So many lifetimes I've executed dharma and I am the king of all the dharmic people. Now, how can you come and tell that I am doing something adharma? So no argument. It is told it is adharma, it is accepted. And immediately, why it is accepted? Because he knows dharma. And he knows dharma, and because of that, he can immediately understand. Some sadhu is telling that it is adharma. He immediately accepts that. And on the contrary, you go to a demon and then say King Vena was there. So he was told that, no, what you're doing is wrong. And immediately, like, he starts preaching to the sadhus, saying that, you see, you people are not following dharma properly. No, who is the king? King is representative of God. That means I'm as good as God. No, why are you worshipping some other God? You should worship me. He gives nice logic. And the sadhus become fed up. You die now. We don't want a king like this. So the demons, like, they will never accept any good instructions. It's quite difficult for them to assimilate good instructions because they're not in the platform of knowledge. They are attached to body and they're attached to sense gratification. So then they cannot assimilate good instructions. It's difficult for them. So however authorized it may be, it cannot. Okay.
Failing in his attempt to pacify Kamsa, Vasudeva wondered how he could protect his wife Devaki. When there is an imminent danger, an intelligent person should try to avoid the dangerous position as far as possible. But if in spite of endeavoring by all intelligence, one fails to avoid the dangerous position, there is no fault on his part. One should try his best to execute his duties. But if the attempt fails, he is not at fault.
Very powerful, this one. This is what we explain in terms of detachment from the results, is attachment to the duty and detachment from the results. And if a person is attached to the result, so he will see that till the time, no, even now the result is not appeared. So then he will try to do the duty in a different way. And he'll try to go behind that, this result has to be achieved. So, but if somebody is duty bound, so then he will try to do, and if it fails, it fails. No, he doesn't get too much attached to that, and he will continue in his Krishna consciousness. So prime business is Krishna consciousness. And because we have got the body, because we have got some kind of relationships in this material world, we have particular duty. And we'll execute that. If it succeeds, it's okay. If it fails, it's okay. No, my main business is Krishna consciousness. I must continue that. So if the detachment is not there, so like the business will be how to get the result. And he'll tax his brain so much that he will do so many different things. He'll keep, and there is no way we can assure foolproof result in this, this one. So the game is not to produce the result. The game is how sincerely we are doing our duty. That is this one. So result is not our game. Result is never to be like, seen as the ultimate goal. The result is in terms of material things. So this one in material, this one phalena parichayate, we should not apply. The phala is what we become detached to matter. That is the phala. And materially, any results that is there, so like positive or negative, it's okay. No, it doesn't matter. It's based on our past karma, it will come. So the thing is, in relation to matter, duty is what is necessary. In relation to spirit, duty is necessary, and also result is also necessary. And we don't control the result. We become we remain dependent on the Lord for the result, but we have attachment to the result. That like attachment to the result in terms of like developing intense attachment to the holy name, intense attachment to Bhagavatam. So this is all result that we want. And for this we are dependent on the Lord. So Tatyenu Kampa Sloka very nicely it puts like developing attachment to the result, spiritual results, and not demanding to the Lord, and completely dependent upon him, and eagerly waiting for the mercy of the Lord, whenever it comes. So there is no demand to the result there. So, but attachment is there. So, but here in the material world, there should not be any attachment to the result also. So one should just simply perform his duty, and he should just leave the result to this one. If he doesn't know how to do this thing, then spiritual advancement is very, very difficult. So like till the time we are attached to the material results, spiritual advancement becomes very, very difficult, because that is the first milestone as a person is supposed to cross. And if somebody becomes like detached from the results of material dealings, so that means a good amount of jnana has arisen in him. So it's a sign of this one, like arising of knowledge actually. So the detachment is a sign of arising of knowledge. So otherwise he's not a knowledgeable person. So he's if he's not a knowledgeable person, that means naturally he'll be bound by the results of karma and bound by the results of his activities. And he has to go through like suffering and happiness and all this ups and downs of this material world. He has to go through all that torture. So, but the moment he comes to the platform of knowledge, so then result doesn't matter. So then nobody can put him into misery. So he'll always be in blissful state of existence. So that is why, a minimum to minimum, this platform of knowledge is expected. So that is why, when I was analyzing this particular concept, that why Krishna is repeating this particular message every chapter, right from 2nd chapter to 18th chapter, every chapter is telling, be detached from the results of your activity. So it is abominable, it is miserly, and it is not very intelligent. So many different things he mentions. And then positive side he mentions, like, this is liberating. If you get detached from the results of your activity, it is liberating, it is glorious. And I'm forgetting that I made one PPT, like I gave in Sarjapur and Panatur, I gave that this one seminar. That is only first 6 chapters only I took. I was trying to put all the shlokas which Krishna is telling about detachment of results, from the whole of Bhagavad Gita. But when I was compiling, 6 chapters only came so many shlokas that I could not able to go further. So many things he mentions, that positive and pros and cons of that this one. So like being detached from this one. Cons in terms of being attached to the results, and pros in terms of like being detached from the results. Krishna gives such an amazing this one. And he's trying to convince at least bare minimum, this much at least you do, like that. And even in this one, the yoga ladder that he mentions in the 12th chapter, so there he mentions that bare minimum, like, see, ultimate thing is like be spontaneously attracted to Krishna and then render service to him and things like that. If you cannot, then be regulated, and so many things he mentions. The bare minimum he tells us that, so at least you don't enjoy the results of your own activity. Give it to somebody. If you don't give it to Krishna, at least do some charity. Give it to somebody. Don't enjoy your own results. That is very, very abominable. Isse niche nahi ja sakte. So like that. So he puts that this one. So here also, like this particular, this one is mentioned that we should not be attached to the results. We should just simply try our best to execute our duty, and result is positive or negative, just leave it. Do your Krishna consciousness. That is this one.
Vasudev thought of his wife as follows: for the present, let me save the life of Devaki, and then later on, if there are children, I shall see how to save them. He further thought, if in future I get a child who can kill Kamsa, just as Kamsa is thinking, both Devaki and the child will be saved, because the law of providence is inconceivable. But now, some way or the other, let me save the life of Devaki.
So this is like intelligence is functioning, So it's like it has to be appreciated a lot. Like at a very critical moment, somebody is able to do logical reasoning. It is quite difficult actually. So one more personality in this one Bhagavatam is very much appreciated in this lines is that Bali Maharaj, when he was accused, very thoroughly accused by the Supreme Lord, even there he's not thinking of anything else. He's not feeling bad. He's not feeling any of the other this ones. He is contemplating how to render service to Krishna at this point in time. So it's a very, very amazing this one. So at that time, so it is mentioned there that when he makes that thought process, and when he expresses his thought that how he can offer himself, or how he can render service to Krishna at that point in time. So even the demigods appreciate, at that point in time. So it's like the demon is defeated. So demigods will appreciate that particular this one. So, but then, so when he was making such a statement, so even demigods were appreciating him, saying that, great sadhu. So like that. So, and in many cases, we see the devotee, the test of a devotee is that he is so much attached to, Krishna. So any difficulty that comes, so there is good chance that he can get affected in the bodily level, he can get affected at the mental level, or at the level of ego and things like that. So, but he may get affected, but the immediate thought process, the immediate kickback that comes in his internal consciousness is, okay, at this point in time, how to render service to Krishna. So that thought process actually kicks in, and then his knowledge is preserved. Otherwise, anybody is cornered like this, no, his knowledge will become completely zero. He'll not be able to think of anything logical. So it's in very great testing time, no? Like this one, Vasudev is like thinking very, very clearly. And then, he's thinking of how to save Devaki at this point in time.
There is no certainty how a living entity contacts a certain type of body, just as there is no certainty how a blazing fire comes in contact with a certain type of wood in the forest. When there is a forest fire, it is experienced that the blazing fire sometimes leaps over one tree and catches another by the influence of the wind. Similarly, a living entity may be very careful in the matter of executing his duties, but it is still very difficult for him to know what type of body he is going to get in the next life. Maharaj Bharat was very faithfully executing the duties of self-realization, but by chance he developed temporary affection for a deer, and in his next life he had to accept the body of a deer.
Our section of Bhagavatam is still continuing. So this we see that this point, no, it's a point of nice humility and dependence on the Lord. So it can help us develop that. Is that we can try to execute our duty, but nothing is guaranteed in this world. So how the material nature will function, how the material nature will entice us, to come into its fold, it's completely unimaginable. So in this point, we see that the sadhana alone or execution of our duties alone is not possible for us to become Krishna conscious. So we are utterly dependent on the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, like Panchatattva and Radha and Krishna. So we are utterly dependent upon their mercy. If their mercy is there, so then all the unfavorable situation can be handled and we can become Krishna conscious. But if we are not depending on the mercy, and if we are only dependent on our process of execution of devotional service, I nicely attend Mangalarti, I nicely chant, I nicely read and things like that. So then what happens is that when the difficulty comes, so I may be swayed also, right? So this point that still it is very difficult, for one to understand what kind of body he will get, right? And then this blazing fire of the forest fire, it is mentioned. So a living entity may be very careful in the matter of executing his duties, but it is still very difficult for him to know what type of body he is going to get in the next life. The influence of material nature is really, really very powerful. And like ma meveya prapadyante maya metam tarantite. That's the only way, actually. So we should try to see that we actively take dependence and shelter of the Lord. And here the point also is about the living entity, what type of body he will get. So the living spark is there, so that falls on the wood, and based on the type of the wood it falls, it burns in a different way, right? So if if the living entity falls into the body of ignorance, based on his previous contact, so then the living sparks tejas is not come out, so much. But if he comes in contact with mode of goodness and he develops mode of goodness, so then the living sparks tej, is like, it actually ablazes very nicely, right? That. Next.
Vasudeva, after deliberating on how to save his wife, began to speak to Skansa with great respect. Although
We will close here now. Okay. So, Prabhupada,